Take a close look at these two jailed men. And just before I show you them, they are men, by the way. Men who have put the lives and safety of ordinary Brits under threat in the most chilling manner while exposing everything wrong with the woke orthodoxy that now dominates our establishment and political class. Loranging Abril Himzai was jailed today for 29 years for the barbaric murder of Thomas Roberts over an e-scooter argument in Bournemouth town centre last year. For the family and girlfriend of the British 21-year-old aspiring Marine who had the world at his feet, life will never be the same. And the illegal migrant scumbag murderer should never have been in this country. He lied to our politically correct officials as a 21-year-old, duping them into believing he was just 14 and that his parents were killed by the Taliban. Most egregious is the fact that by the time he fled Serbia in 2018, after committing, wait for it, a double murder, he'd had his asylum application rejected by Norway. But soft-touch Britain let this proven killer and drug dealer in and allowed him to stay, paving the way for him to commit this heinous murder. Former Home Secretary Priti Patel is lobbying for the UK to introduce scientific age assessment methods, writing in the Daily Telegraph. The vicious killing of Thomas Roberts was a ghastly act of barbarity. The fact that it was committed at the hands of a liar who took advantage of this nation's generosity, misleading officials about his age in order to be taken in as an asylum seeker, should jolt us into action. We must implement every law available to us now to stop adults from claiming asylum on the basis of a false age. Now, last night on the show, Tory MP Lee Anderson was very clear about how he feels about this monster.
He's a creature, he's not a man. He's a creature that's murdered abroad, he's come here, he's told lies, he's been put in foster care, it's cost the British taxpayer thousands and thousands of pounds, and now we're going to put him in prison for 20 odd years. It's going to cost the British taxpayer thousands and thousands of pounds again. That's not the answer, and I think the answer is, and I'll say this with a heavy heart, it's probably at the end of a rope. I believe in the death penalty for cases like this.
Thomas Roberts is gone. His family will never get to hug this brilliant man again. It's not the end of this story, because Border Force officials predict 80,000 of these illegals will flood in via the channel this year alone, putting countless more liars, criminals and indeed terrorists on our streets. This is why I have been shining a spotlight on this invasion for years now, and shame on those who ignore it. But the other man who I showed you at the start of the show is Adam Graham. Or at least that was the name he went by when he violently attacked two women sexually in 2016 and 2019 in Scotland. But after an initial court appearance, Adam decided to transition and become Isla Bryson. That's who you see on the screen there. The stark danger of gender extremism was laid bare when Adam, under his new identity of Isla, was sent to a women's prison as a convicted rapist, putting even more biological females at risk. When J.K. Rowling was asked today what Nicola Sturgeon was asking this little girl, she tweeted, "Do you agree that a convicted double rapist who decided he was a woman after a period in court belongs in a women's prison? Or are you a nasty far-right bigot?" At least Sturgeon rival Joanna Cherry was happy to tell it as it is this morning.
I'm very concerned about the safety of women prisoners with whom a convicted rapist has been placed. And under Scots law, the crime of rape can only be committed by somebody with a penis, and that's a man. Yeah. And I think we should call out what's happened here.
Thank goodness. A politician, a female politician, actually prepared to tell it like it is, even though she remains an SNP MP. But let me tell you, under a Labour SNP coalition from hell, there would be so much more of this madness. Slippery Starmer wants to throw open our borders, and scheming Sturgeon's sick gender reform bill allows sex offenders to acquire a gender recognition certificate simply by signing a slip of paper. How many more murders and rapes is it going to take for authorities, politicians, and the media to wake up and realise the danger of this slippery slope?